This week's episode of Weekly Tech Update is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/WTU. There are now well over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Windows Phone, or your Kindle. Good day and welcome to episode number 342 of Weekly Tech Update for January 26, 2016. In this episode, we are discussing the Galaxy S7 is coming, WhatsApp is now free, and Microsoft breaks sales records in Japan. Stay tuned for those stories and more here on your Weekly Tech Update. Oh man, I gotta change all my passwords because apparently they're all bad. Broadcasting from BCC HQ South, I'm Benjamin Hyde.
And broadcasting down the road from BCC Hardware Souther, I'm not bad, Jason Schneider.
So, yeah, we'll dive right in. The different security firms, a couple different ones, released their bad passwords of 2015. And if you have any passwords on here, A, you should change them, and B, really, you're kind of, yeah, that's you need help. You need security help.
Yeah. It's always funny when somebody gets, let's say, quote unquote, hacked, and then it's like, "What was your password?" It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're like, "Well, I think I figured it out. I think we know why you got hacked." Exactly. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the most popular password, and so really, this list was made up from all the leaked passwords. Every once in a while, somebody releases, hacks into one of these big companies, releases all the passwords. So they've kind of compiled all of these. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, once again, is the most popular password. Second is password.
Yeah.
But surprised. The new number 3, which is exciting, is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As more companies are now forcing you to use an 8-digit password. So that's nice to see people are making their passwords longer. So
exactly. So it's complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. Number QWERTY moved down from 3 to 4. So now that's no longer the third most popular password. So that's nice. So people are changing their passwords up a little from QWERTY to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's good. We're seeing progress.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, yeah. Star Wars made the password list, which isn't surprising. Little late to the game, though, so it only made number 25.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is some of the fun ones that aren't, 1, 2, 3, 4, or combinations of that is football is number 7. Mm-hmm. Baseball is number 10. Princess is number 21. So
yeah,
your password needs to be changed.
is number 11, which is new to the list. So that's nice. There's a new one. Oh,
that is that, and that's a strong showing for its first year on the list. Welcome.
Exactly. I'm surprised that incorrect isn't on there. That's still like one of the best passwords ever. That way you get reminded.
That's a good one. The interesting one is Let Me In. It went from 6, dropped all the way to 19. So it looks like people are changing their password from Let Me In to Welcome.
Exactly. So, well, and Monkey lost 6 places too.
I
thought that was a good password. I haven't used that password.
Yeah.
So, and apparently it's going to take probably at least 18 tries for someone to actually hack it now. If they try the first 17 first. So, yeah.
And now what people probably don't realize is these lists are used with all these hacking algorithms. So basically they take the 1,000 most popular passwords and that's the first 1,000 they try. So if somebody really wants to get into your Facebook account and they're using some automated process, they're probably going to get it if your password's on this list. So
the funny thing is I've been doing on-site tech work for a few different companies. And one of them, I sat down at this one lady's computer. You know her very well, Jason, but I will leave her nameless for the sake, and her company for the sake of this show. And their security. But I sat down and was like, she's not available. She needs me to do this on her computer. So I sat down, typed password, boom, I'm in. It's like, really? Oh.
Then you look like a genius.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know what the password is. Well, exactly. I asked the other person in the office, do you know what so-and-so's password is? Like, I have no idea. So I sat down. Never mind. I got it.
Yeah. The other one that's amazing is I was helping somebody, they locked themselves out of their router. They wanted to add some new wireless devices, and they didn't know the password. So it's like, let me log into your router. So it's like, log in, and, admin, bam, and in. They're like, whoa, how did you figure out the password? I was like, because you didn't change the password.
Exactly.
And then they're like, oh, is that bad? Like, yes, that is very bad.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
Is it bad that I left my keys in my car in like the slums? Yes. Yes, that's
Yeah.
bad.
That's bad. So you should probably change that. But they weren't too worried. They were just happy that I was able to get in there and then tell them their
Exactly.
Wi-Fi password. So
Which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
no, it amazingly wasn't. It was the generated one that was
Right. No,
10 digits long and all sorts of
exactly.
different ones. But
Exactly.
I was expecting like password to be the password. So
Yeah.
yeah.
People, yeah,
Well,
security matters, people. It really does.
so change your password is basically what we're
Change your
trying to say.
password,
And this is we're 342 episodes in. We've probably said that 100 times, and yet I would still guess that a lot of people's passwords is football
Yeah, exactly.
or dragon
Yeah.
or whatever you want it to be. But
Exactly.
anyways,
Exactly.
it's a good reminder that your password is probably next time you get hacked and your password's 1234566, you can probably figure out why.
And it's not getting hacked if you're giving the keys to someone, right? If you're giving, I mean, and if you have any of these passwords or anything this simple or something like this, you're giving the keys to somebody. I wouldn't even call that being hacked. I'd call that being a moron.
And yeah, no, but people call it being hacked.
No, I know they do. It's like, oh, hacked on Facebook. It's like, no, you left your Facebook browser open. You have auto
You
login.
were at Walmart and you logged in to your Facebook and you forgot to log out.
Exactly. Exactly. Probably has happened.
Oh no, it's happened. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was always the thing at university. They always had the the public email stations.
Yep.
It was amazing how many people just left their Facebook logged in or their email.
Oh yeah. I believe it. Yeah.
And if you were, most of the time somebody would post something on it and then log you out.
Right.
Which was hilarious.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Next story.
Where do you want to go from there?
Well, let's talk ads on smart TVs
Nice.
because those are going to be so handy, so helpful. I hate this, but it had to happen, right? Companies
Well-
sit there and want to advertise to you in any way, shape, or form they can. With connected devices, I mean, through apps on your phone or web pages or browser extensions or anything, we get just pounded with ads because they do work. They're not very effective, but they actually generate revenue because there's going to be somebody that checks something out, that clicks on it, and now smart TVs are the next medium that people are really going to be trying to push on. And I mean, I say it had to happen because that's just the society we live in to just push junk at us, but I wish it didn't happen, but yeah, it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, no, this is going to happen more and more, and everyone sees so many ads that you're like, how effective are they? A lot of it's just the brand recognition, putting your brand out there, and if you can show it to 1 million people, and even if they're just going to click on it right away, if 50% of them are going to recognize it as some way, it's like, oh, that was a TV, or that was an ad for Ford. Okay, Ford, yeah, no big deal. I'm not buying a Ford. But then later you're like, oh, Ford has that new car, that's always showing up on that ad on my TV.
Mm-hmm.
It works, and it's cheap advertising because you can show it to 1 million people for, $20, $10,
Exactly.
$5. Like it's dirt cheap to do that. So
Yeah.
the crappy thing is when you go and buy, a $2,000 TV and now it's advertising to you while you're trying to watch TV.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't it's not like coming up in the middle of a Blu-ray or anything. This
No,
is
exactly.
These ads that were being shown off on the new Samsung TVs were kind of on the side. If you had paused it or if you were, changing inputs or whatever, and a little ad would pop up here and there. It's going to make people mad because it's basically buying a new car, and then every time you get in, you have to watch a 5-second ad before you can turn on the ignition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. I mean, there's Kindle, Amazon, and Kindle did that for a while. You could buy the
The ad
ad-supported
version, yeah.
version. And I know a few people that did, and they for a book thing, it didn't matter too much because it was just basically instead of having the wallpaper that you could choose when it's powered off, it would be an ad, right?
Yeah.
So it would be laying there displaying its ad 90% of the time or more. And when you read the book, it wouldn't. But then, it gets more invasive. But still, so I know a bunch of people that bought the Kindle, the ad-supported version of the Kindle, but the next time they bought one, they didn't. Right?
Yeah.
They're like, I'd rather pay $20 or $30 extra and not see ads. And
Well, and that's where these TVs are going to be. people I don't think would be too upset if it's like, okay, here's your new Samsung TV. It's $1,200, or for $1,100 you can get the ad version where every once in a while an ad pops up on the left hand side when you're changing inputs. Would people buy the ad version? Probably.
Probably.
Would they buy it again?
Probably not. Right? Yeah. People will save that money at first and then realize, okay, that kind of sucked. I like watching my TV without being pushed U.S. Army ads or whatever, or Ford ads, or, I mean, it sucks, but it's the way. I mean, like you say, I think largely it is that brand recognition. Yes, they're not going to get you to click on something and enlist in the Army while you're watching, The Last Day, right? But they're gonna hopefully just get that in your mind, and down the road you'll be like, yeah, I saw that. That looks cool.
Oh, and it works. There's the science behind it. It works.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if it didn't work, there wouldn't be billboards. Because
that's
right.
How
many times are you driving around like, let's go for a drive and see the new billboards out on Main Street? You don't. Nobody does. Nobody's excited about new billboards, but they work. It's getting into your subconscious. It's like, these injury lawyers, they do it because they work.
That's right.
And
exactly.
It's not that you're going around being like, I got to go check some billboards out and find an injury lawyer. But it's, as soon as you get injured and you're like, I got to sue him. And then it's like, oh, it's McMillian and Company. They got that big ad up on Main Street. And then you Google them and.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it works.
Yeah. So anyways, it's it sucks. But I think on stuff like TVs, putting ads on them is going to backfire. Someday will we see it? Yeah, probably. But when you go buy your nice big expensive smart TV and then ads show up, people don't react so positively.
No,
and
it's gonna hurt, especially if there's a company, let's say LG or one of the other, Sony or Sharp or somebody else that's bigger. I guess Sony's kind of backed out of it, but some other bigger company, if they don't, I think they're going to do really well come second generation sales, right? Because if Samsung smart TVs, as much as I like Samsung TVs, if they're the primary TV that's pushing ads, and people go to buy their next generation TV, and words all over the internet that Samsung TVs display ads and LGs don't, I bet you the person's next TV purchase, they're going to seriously consider an LG.
Yeah, and that's very possible. So I guess they have to. All these companies are going to be trying to figure out: do we make more money showing ads, even though it's going to make people mad? Is it worth it? And that's where they're going to have to try to do the economics of it, because it very well could be worth it, because they could do the research and find out that 95% of the people aren't going to make their buying decision based on if their TV has ads or not. And it might be worth it to advertise. And
the thing is, that would be something that would be available to disable or change through a software update, right? So if you're sitting there and the internet is just alive with hate for displaying ads, these smart TVs, they have updates, right? You sit there and you go to your smart hub and it's like, oh, okay, well, I got to update. They could do that and disable ads or scale them down or whatever whatever. So this is something that is fluid. It is dynamic. It's not just this is how it comes out of the box and this is what you're stuck with forever. Yeah. So we'll see how it works. I mean, I'm not excited about it, but it's the way it's going to be, I'm sure.
Well, and that sucks. But it'll be interesting to see if the majority of people kind of rebel against this. There's going to be people who aren't going to go buy a Samsung because they're worried they're going to get ads every once in a while. But I still think the masses have probably accepted the fact that you're going to see ads all day.
Yeah. So you could save money maybe buy a smart TV with ads, or you can save $8 a month on cable and drop ESPN.
Yeah.
That's how much ESPN means to people. 56% of people would drop ESPN if they could save $8.
Well, would you?
I don't have ESPN. Actually, I dropped my sports package to save $12 a month. So yeah, I guess so.
So basically, I guess you would.
I did. Yes, I don't have sports anymore.
Yeah.
Sports package.
Well, ESPN's always the one that comes up in all these cable cutter surveys, because it's one of the services that actually is showing live events quite consistently.
Yeah.
So that's anyone who cuts the cord is always like, well, I kind of miss sports. Exactly. ESPN is always the one that gets brought up in these conversations. So there was a new study done, and 56% of the people surveyed said, if you could cut, we'll take off ESPN for an $8 a month, reduction. Would you do it? And 56% said yes. It's kind of interesting. That's probably about what I would have expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely lots of people who don't. Sports isn't worth a bunch of money to them. If there's nothing else on and they sit there, oh yeah, maybe I'll flip by or stop at the ball game or whatever. But the reality is, that's changing. People are able to, people's attention spans are so short that if you've got a sports team you're following on your Google Now or your Siri app or whatever the deal is, and you can sit there and get updates when somebody scores, your phone jiggles, for a lot of people, that's good enough to know what their team is doing rather than watch it. Because they could be doing
casual
something
sports
else.
fan, that is. And if there's a big game, you can go to a restaurant, a friend's house, something like that. That's usually how a lot of people get around.
Yeah.
Still enjoy sports, but not have a sports package. Also studied was, they said, well, what if ESPN did a standalone service? Standalone streaming, so, you could stream all the ESPN content live for $20 a month, which is what HBO charges for their service. 85% of people said no, they wouldn't do that.
Right.
So,
see, I would do that, even though it's more than $8 a month. I would totally do that during the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
I'm in for a couple months, maybe, depends how good my team does. And at the end of the year, I probably wouldn't, like, if they stuck in hardcore through the playoffs, I'd probably spend as much money in 3 months on a standalone service as I would, all year on my, included in my cable package. But at the same time, I mean, it's that perceived savings. And if my team does horrible or if I'm busy, I just wouldn't do it that month. Like, sometimes for me, playoffs are like the worst time of year that I have no time to watch. So I still go old school and listen to it on the radio.
Yeah. The interesting thing is most of the major sporting organizations have their streaming services where, I'll use the NHL, for example, NHL Game Center for whatever amount of dollars. They always have deals, but it's usually, let's say, $200 a year. You get every single game.
Yeah.
You can watch it later. You can watch it now. You can watch a different angle. They give you a lot of service like that, which I think really hurts all these other sports packages where it's $12 a month to get, TSN or Sportsnet in Canada or ESPN in the States or Fox Sports, whatever it is. I think almost all of these sports channels are getting undercut by the organizations themselves. There's still going to be the sports fan who wants to see baseball, football, hockey, everything, and then they'll get an ESPN. But I think the percentage is a lot lower than people originally thought, because ESPN had kind of been thought as one of those services that keeps people on cable, because it's of all the live events. But I think it's more and more turning out to be, people are just looking at the price and being like, it's just too expensive. If I could save $8 a month and I wouldn't get baseball, I'd be okay with that.
Well, with any kind of tax on top of that, I mean, it's $100 a year. Does sports
just for one channel?
Yeah, exactly. Does that?
But
really
your
mean
cable bill is going to be $60 to $80 a month.
Yeah.
There's not many cable packages anymore that are less than $50 a month. Or if they are, you get so limited channels that it's not really even worth it.
Like we live in a rural Alberta, so we have satellite, right? That's how we get our TV, and we've definitely backed it down. There's not a lot of channels we get. We don't get a lot of channels, and I'm okay with that because I don't watch much for TV. I mean, I really don't. This whole Netflix blocking thing that they talked about doing last week, they actually did it, and to me that's irritating. And what I see happening with that, this is kind of a side rant or whatever, but I see as Netflix has blocked different countries from viewing the U.S. content, and all over the place, right? There's specific U.K. content that's not being played in the U.S. Now that they've done that, what I see happening is actually legit piracy going up.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I think so, too, because there's going to be those series that's like, it's Netflix exclusive that's only available in the States, which I don't know if I don't think Netflix does that, but let's say they have.
Do. You bet they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a series that's only available in the States. Yeah, it's going to get pirated because people are going to watch it, because people around the world, with the internet so global that you're seeing everyone talking about, that new show is on, it's so good. And you're like, well, I live in Canada, so I can't watch it. Yeah, people find ways around it, and piracy, unfortunately, is usually the solution for stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But once again, like we talked last week, I don't think this was Netflix's idea, but yeah, now people are reporting that their VPNs and all their proxies and stuff are getting blocked, and that's too bad.
Exactly. Well, it is. I mean, whatever. I mean, I have a Netflix account, and I would like to be able to watch whatever brand of Netflix that I want, but that's not the way they do it. But of course, Netflix themselves, they release a statement as like, we're doing this, but it will be relatively trivial. That's their words, relatively trivial to get around it for VPNs to just change their IPs. So it sounds like they just added they had this big blacklist. That they said, okay, we're blocking all of these IPs. Netflix is like, fine, we'll block all those IPs. Oh, by the way, VPNs, if you want to get around this, just change your IPs.
Yeah, it'll be good. Don't worry. Yeah, no, Netflix doesn't care. As long as you're paying your $10 a month, they could care less if you were streaming it from their Mexican server or their UK server. Exactly. They just want monthly subscribers. It's the movie studios who think that you in Canada watching a Mexican show is going to be the downfall of civilization.
Well, they call that piracy because it wasn't licensed for your country. So, I mean, these studios are calling that piracy. It's like, you know what piracy is?
It's just amazing, especially with an online streaming, like how they still think that those rules apply.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyways, they do. And,
well, you know,
so that's
someone who stepped up and tried to help us out is Google.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yes, Google is not the do no evil company they used to be, but they still blocked 780 million bad ads last year. So up from 524 million in the year before. So, I mean, these ads are for their different platforms that people try and get through and sneak some ads in. And Google, sometimes they have our back.
Yeah, they do seem to eventually catch these bad ads. Sometimes they slip through for a little while, but they are looking out for you. So that's good. 12.5 million of those 780 were pharmaceutical ads, which was up from just under 10 million in 2014. So basically ads that are making misleading claims or that aren't approved for use. So
exactly.
That's nice. That's nice to see because people sometimes get suckered into that.
Bill's horse liniment.
What's that?
Bill's horse liniment. Good for treating.
It's good for you according to the ad I saw.
Foot warts and gophers.
Yeah.
That hasn't actually been tested on gophers. So
yeah.
Just saying.
But anyways, about 30,000 sites associated with misleading weight loss scams. So as many of those as you do see on the internet, there's many less because Google has your back. Lots of phishing sites. So ones that are basically saying like, oh, hey, we're the Royal Bank, click here for free money. And then people click there and enter in their account information and all of a sudden can't figure out why someone drained their bank account.
Exactly.
So those sites are part of them. 17 million ads that are designed to look like warning messages from your computer. Those are popular.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh hey, your computer has a virus. Click here to fix it. And you're like, well, I need to fix it, right? And you click yes, and which downloads
the
something
virus.
that steals your banking information. So
exactly.
So that's good. They blocked a bunch of those.
I hope they block ads on
kind
smart
of highlights.
TVs. Yeah, I hope they block ads on smart TVs too.
Well, that would be nice. Unfortunately, Google doesn't control all the ads on the internet.
No, that's
so
right.
You still have to be careful, but at least Google is trying to make their ad network safer, which is a nice thing. It's unfortunate that everybody didn't have that same attitude because, you see lots of these bad ads still. But
no, you do. I think one of the worst companies to display bad ads, honestly, is Facebook. Right hand bar on Facebook is full of ads that I know are just crap. I mean, I sit there and choose hit the little X and say I block it because of whatever, I'm not interested or it's offensive, whatever. And I do that. I mean, I've done that enough that my Facebook ad stream is pretty decent. But other people, you sit there, they have their Facebook open or whatever like that. You look at it, you're like, gosh, I mean, how can you deal with that? That's just horrible.
It's sad that you have to put in the effort to make your advertising stream better.
Exactly. Because yes, I'm not looking for singles in my area. I know there's not 21 hot moms in Vulcan that want to get with me.
Well, if you don't click, how do you know?
Exactly. So is that how you confirm or deny?
I just don't use Facebook. Or I try not to use Facebook.
Exactly. No, it's just
I accidentally click on it every once in a while, but
what, on Facebook?
I usually
or
click
the
on it
hot
and I'm
moms?
like, what am I doing? This is stupid. And then
Exactly.
2 minutes later, I accidentally click on it again. I'm like, what am I doing now? This is even stupider.
Exactly. Oh well. So Google's trying to get her back. And Nintendo's trying to get back. Nintendo's trying to get back into the game thing, trying to be popular, trying to be cool. They're doing something that no other company has done before. They're trying to bring games to mobile phones.
Whoa, groundbreaking.
No, I know. Like, and this is what Nintendo needs. It really is. It's been what Nintendo's needed for a long time. We've talked about this. We've tried to give them counsel. And they no, we're going to have our games, like official games, only on our handheld devices. And now they're starting to realize, you know what? That works fine in Japan, where Nintendo is like one of the top grossing consoles ever, but the rest of the world, not so much. So how do we market to the rest of the world? Hey, let's put it on their smartphones. Finally, they get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're getting excited, but it's not going to be, the full titles. They're basically licensing their characters and titles to smartphone game makers, and then they're going to make games. So don't set your expectations very high, because the first one they showed was basically like this me creator thing, and it sucks. Like, everyone's like, this is garbage. Like, why do we even care? In the example, they show you Super Mario Brothers on your smartphone, which is like, yay, that's a great game. That would be fun to play on my smartphone. That isn't confirmed. This is just basically all it is. This is a licensing deal more than anything, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, but what I'm hoping, and what I actually am pretty confident will come because of this, Nintendo actually licensing to smartphone companies, companies that will be doing this, like game creators, will be able to port things. They will be able to make things, and I think it will bring a lot of their library to the smartphone. Probably not the first part of the year here, but I think it's going to actually be decent, and they're going to see the popularity of it. And I think this is the TSN turning point. I
hope you're right, but I don't know, because I think they're going to try to just be putting new titles, because porting games over is tough on a smartphone because you don't have a controller.
No, that's right, for sure. No, I know what you're saying, for sure.
So we'll see how it all pans out. Hopefully, it's popular enough that they start putting a little more effort into it.
Right. Well, yeah. I guess I said it wrong. I mean, I don't think they're going to port a lot of the old stuff over. I mean, some third-party companies it won't be EA, but somebody else will, right? Port some stuff over. But what I think we're going to see, though, is going forward, like you said, a lot of the newer titles available, reworked to work with smartphones. And controller support.
Or have them as companion apps. There's kind of like what they were trying to do with the Wii U, where the game's on the screen, but then you can do other things on your smartphone.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that works out for them. I mean, it's really, why not try it, see what happens.
Well,
if they can come out with some good titles that actually get people playing them and buying them, then this will probably continue. But if it flops, I don't think they're gonna stick with it if it's not successful in the next 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, well, I hope that they have a few that work, because I would like to see this. I mean, expand your install base. I mean, you have a huge install base.
Well, you do.
I mean,
their first game is called was it Mitomo, and basically you can customize things. And to quote the article that is linked in our show notes, it says, "After seeing Nintendo's first smartphone game, I've lost all faith."
Yeah, well, I wouldn't lose all faith yet, but
okay,
I think,
all right, okay. Well, no, it's a bold prediction. I like it.
Well, I think that they're gonna take that feedback and think, okay, yeah, that sucked. Okay, well, let's do something different.
Yeah,
right. I think Nintendo's a fluid enough company still that they can actually take feedback from something and make some changes. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But they've got a new president, right? This is, I mean, there's different leadership involved. I think that they can actually do something different here. They have the
Well, and that's what Nintendo is going to do. And I think they've realized that they have to do something different in order to stay relevant and profitable, because Nintendo can no longer compete with the Sonys and the Microsofts.
Yeah.
As far as a pure gaming console, they're left in the dust. They have to do things differently, and that's where there's new leadership is going to be interesting, because now they're going to do some smartphone stuff, see if that works out, as well as even their new NX, which is supposed to be the Wii U replacement. Their president basically said gamers should not expect a successor to the Wii U, but rather something that is based on entirely new ideas.
Yeah, that's gonna. I'm curious.
Well, but that's the thing that made the Wii so successful is
Right.
It was like nothing else.
Exactly, and if they can,
When it came out, it was a brand new idea and people lined up for it. So we'll see if the NX can do that again.
yeah, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So anyways, they're not even really sure if it's going to release this year or not, but I'm assuming they're going to want to try to get out there as soon as possible, just because now that the PS4 and the Xbox One have been out for a while, people are almost a little more interested in dishing out a couple $100 for something new.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, we'll see. You've made some bold predictions. We'll see if they come true.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in my predictions, but I'm hoping. I guess as much as it's predictions, it's optimism, but we'll see.
Well, and so I had just made a big bold statement saying that Microsoft can't hang with the big boys with Xbox One and PS4. The new sales figures just came out in Japan, and probably proved me completely wrong.
Microsoft broke some records.
Microsoft. So let's start at the top. The number one selling console in Japan was the new 3DS. So basically, me saying that they can't hang with them is probably not so true, but they're gaming. As far as gaming consoles go, the 3DS LL in Japan sold 29% of the units. PS4 was at 24.7.
Yep.
The Vita is still doing very well over there, 17.6%, which equals out to where we are, 18,000. So not huge numbers, but still just kind of show you how the market is. The Wii U was at 49%. The 3DS, the new 3DS, not the LL, was at 6%. And now we're getting smaller and smaller here. PS3 still sold 1,900 units. The 3DS, the 3DS LL. So I don't know. I guess there must be a new version. So that's 1,100. So now we come into Xbox. They had a good week. The Xbox One sold. Drum roll, please, into the double digits. 99
Xbox One sales in Japan in a week. Yeah. Compared to the new 3DS LL,
which sold 30,000.
30,000. Compared to the PS3, which sold 1,939. I mean, that's 20-1.
Yeah,
the PS3.
For the PS3.
But to be fair, I mean, Japan is Sony and Nintendo's market. It is. But yeah, they don't care much for the Xbox One.
No, it must be a tough sell. Probably pricing comes into it a little bit due to the fact that the Xbox One will be imported. Yeah. It's probably a little higher price, I would assume. But still, nobody can get too excited about 99 console sales in Japan in a week.
Gosh,
whoops,
that's rough.
Do you think this comes up at Microsoft's next console meeting?
I think it does. I think it does. Yeah. I don't know what they do about it though. I mean, Japan is a huge market, but it is just one bit of a global market, and I think they have to be, realistically balance global market sales and not get too discouraged, but at the same time try and figure out how they can change that. But yet at the same time,
the biggest thing with all of this is price. Right now, if you want to talk consoles, a lot of it comes down to price.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
The Wii U is still selling units all over the place, not huge numbers, but they're at a price where people go in and go like, $200 and I get Smash Brothers. That's a pretty good deal. They're still moving. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, they're moving, but neither of them is so much better than the other one that people are just going to buy them regardless of what the price is. If you go into a store and the Xbox One is $500 and the PS4 is $400, you probably buy a PS4.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's where it's good for the consumer because the prices go down. But I think Xbox is really trying to, they don't want to lower the price.
No, for sure. For
And so
sure.
they're trying to do all these deals, oh, you get a free game, oh, you get a free controller, stuff like this. But it just hasn't worked as well as they want. And PlayStation has been doing a whole lot better.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's good. It's good for the consumers, and I think the price war will start because I think Xbox needs to really get their numbers up a bit.
I think so. And I mean, right now, currently, the Xbox One is one of the cheaper consoles to buy, but
Yep.
they're going to have to, do better than that.
But probably a year ago or 6 months ago would have been the time to start really dropping the prices
It
because
would've, yeah.
the market is saturated. If you have a PlayStation 4, you're not really in the market looking for another one.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And so, yeah, we'll see. It's been an interesting thing to watch because I thought it would be a lot closer than it was, but every once in a while you see these numbers showing that the PS4 is definitely globally doing a whole lot better than Xbox One, which is kind of surprising. I thought it would be neck and neck.
I did too. I thought it'd be close, but
Still, either of them. Really,
I think
at the end of the day, you buy either of them, you're gonna be happy.
you are. I think what's killing them is the fact that they're trying to do too much with the Xbox One. I don't think they're. I think people that are buying the PS4 are buying it because they want a game.
Yeah,
And people that are buying the Xbox One, they want a game too. But I mean, the way Microsoft is marketing it, it's like it's everybody's. It's mom and dad's. It's grandma and grandpa's console for everything. And I think that loses a lot of edge and appeal to people who are like, well, I just want like a wicked awesome console to game on.
well, really, at the end of the day, most people want a console that plays games and you can watch Netflix on.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you said, I want two features in a console, what would they be? It's going to be Netflix and gaming.
Yeah.
And that's what the PlayStation does well. I mean, not saying the Xbox One doesn't, because it also does those things. But yeah, definitely their marketing is a little bit different. They're trying to make it, they want to make it a full living room experience.
They want it to be in every person's living room because it has that much capability. But because of that, it loses appeal to gamers,
Yeah.
which are the ones that are driving the market. Most of these
Well-
gamers are the ones that have that extra money because they're living at home or they're college or whatever, and they get together with their buddies and they're buying consoles rather than the people who could afford a console for sure, but they're like, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't need a gaming console. I just need a new little Roku.
Exactly. And I think it's the $99 streaming devices that have really killed the Xbox One sales because, mom and dad are like, oh, no, something would be nice to watch, Netflix on. What should we get? And it's like, well, the Xbox One does all that. Oh, but so does the $99 Roku. It's like, I'll just buy the Roku. That's all I really care about.
Exactly.
And that's unfortunately just because it's a $400 console or a $99 streaming device. It's a pretty easy decision for somebody. If it was a $200 console and a $100 streaming device, it'd be like, oh, well, but it might be nice to be able to play a couple games or, but it's that $400 to $100 price range that it's really hurt them to be that living room device that you have one device connected to your TV. People go with the Roku.
They do. Yeah. Next story. Galaxy S7. It's coming. I mean, MWC Mobile World Congress just wrapped up yesterday, and there's lots of stuff coming. And the S7. It's not going to be groundbreaking. I mean, none of these new devices are, but it's definitely going to be. It's going to be a step up and a step in the right direction. I think. I mean, I think if you're looking for a new device in 2016, this is probably. I mean, if you don't mind buying the locked big brand device, this is probably the one you wait for.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it qualifies as flagship.
Yeah, new processor, the 8-core Snapdragon that's actually fixed. There was lots of overheating issues with the 810. The 820 is going to be in the S7, focusing more on power efficiency and performance. And it's going to be it's solid. So
the S7 and the S7 Edge, which the Edge has been a popular model for Samsung, they'll be sporting the 5.2-inch screen. They will be doing the the Edge Plus, which is 5.7 inches. So I guess they're kind of trying to hit cover all their bases with a 5.2 and a 5.7. 5.7 is a big phone, but people like big phones.
Yeah, they do. I think that I don't know. I think that the S7 is going to be a worthy upgrade to people, because I mean, any of these phones based on that Snapdragon 810 were not great phones. Like the HTC M9 was the successor to the incredibly popular M8. It came with basically, the big deal was, and a lot of these phones from the S5 to the S6, a lot of these phone models, that big upgrade was just processor for 8 cores rather than 4, but that processor kind of sucked. And so I think that because of the fixes and stuff, it's going to be, a worthy upgrade if you want to stay current. I think it's going to be probably worth it to the benefits. That being said, it's pretty hard to pass up phones like the much cheaper ZTE Axon series or something like that. But,
well, and that's where you have to make the decision. There are some people who aren't too worried about the price tag, and especially if you get it carrier subsidized. Yeah, it's just it's a device you use a lot. So I think people will spend more money, but yeah, there are cheaper alternatives that are unlocked that give you a lot more options. I guess the big question will be, if you have an S6, if you're a Galaxy fan, you have an S6, is it worth upgrading to the S7? Is it worth taking that kicking to go up to the S7? I don't know. I would say it's probably not. It's an upgrade, but it's not gonna blow your socks off going from the S6 to S7. If you're at an S5 or an S4, yeah, then you're gonna see a big jump. It's just all of these phones. It's just faster.
It is. Yeah, it's fast. It got some other tweaks, but at the end, really, it's faster.
Right? Yeah. So now your application will load in 1.1 second instead of 1.15 seconds. Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of stuff you're not going to see a huge increase, but it looks like a good phone. Lots of options. It's going to be pretty solid because the Galaxy phones traditionally all have been pretty solid devices. They're not. It's not a cheap device.
No, exactly.
And I don't think that will change with S7. So March 11th is the release date.
Yeah, it's not too long. You don't have to start saving your money now, because on contract, the S7 Edge or something like that is going to be, my guess, on a 2-year contract is still going to be $300-400.
Yeah, you'll probably $349. You'll be able to pick one up.
That, yeah.
Which for a lot of people, this is the one device. They do everything on their smartphone.
It's true. Yeah.
It's probably, for the amount that you actually use the device, even buying a $700 smartphone is probably a pretty cheap investment.
When it comes down to how much you use it based on, how much you use your computer or something like that, it probably is. But, it's still hard to swallow for me.
If you want an unlocked phone where you don't have to sign a contract, there are options, like you said, the ZTE one that we took a look at, the Axon?
Axon, yeah, AXON.
Axon. Yeah, there you go. Axon. Yeah, it's...
That review will be,
I don't know.
very
If
soon.
if you could try one for a week, I don't know if you would go sign a contract just so you can go buy a new iPhone or a
I
new
don't
Galaxy
think I would.
device.
I don't think I would. I mean, this phone, it's 4K. I mean, yeah. This is not a flagship phone, and yet it records 4K video, 8-megapixel front-facing camera that does very well. I mean, which is what most people want a good camera, right? 13-megapixel rear, 8-megapixel front. 1080p screen, 4K video recording, great Dolby sound in it. That actually, I mean, it's really good sound. You plug stuff into the jack. I mean, better than a couple of Nexus that I've currently used or have tried. It's a great device, and it's not a flagship. I mean, they've got their Axon Pro as well, which is even faster processor and stuff. But I don't know. It's hard. I think, like you said, if somebody could try one of these for a week and tried the S6 or S7 for a week, and then at the end of the week, they have to sit there and pay or not pay. I think 99% of people would choose to not pay, take the free phone on the contract rather.
Well, I don't know if the percentage would be that high. I mean, it's almost that status symbol of having having a Samsung or having a iPhone. I think there would be people who will just buy just based on the brand.
Yeah, well, but brand aside, so you debrand them.
Okay, if they're all debranded, I think you'd have a hard time and say, okay, this one's $300, this one's $900, or 400 with a 2-year contract. Right. What do you want? All I know is when you don't have a contract, cell phone companies are the nicest people in the world.
Yes, they are.
Oh, they just want to help you out. Anything they can do for you. Well, how about, your $40 bill a month? That's pretty expensive. We could do it for 30, just to keep you around. We don't want to lose you as a customer. Oh yeah. Phone when you have a 2-year contract or a year and a half left on your contract. See how helpful they are.
Exactly. Screw you.
It's like, yeah, well, calls in 18 months. It's like, well, my phone doesn't work. And it's like, well, buy another one.
Exactly. Oh yeah. That's exactly true. So
I recommend when your contract's up, phone them, and you will have a completely different experience.
it will be. Yeah, your telco will be your friend. It's nice.
Oh, they can't do enough for you.
It's true. I mean, I don't have a contract, and in Canada, it's pretty hard to get good data contracts anymore because there's people like, well, you've been known to do a lot of downloading over your LTE connection.
Because I got a good contract that they don't want me to have anymore.
Exactly.
Well, my contract's up, but my plan has been grandfathered in for many, many years.
Right.
And oh yeah, they phone me all the time and are like, hey, we'll give you $500 if you change your plan. I'm like, nah, I'm good. It's not that they don't give me that much money.
No, but the point is but yeah, with mine too, because I don't have a contract, and I was like, well, you know what, for me, I don't have Wi-Fi everywhere when you're rural, so I use a lot of data. I mean, my wife and I, we share a plan, and so we have a plan, but there's no contract. So now we're up to 10 gigs of data, which is a lot of data. Which, if you have a contract, is about $120 add-on. And yeah, we don't pay anywhere near that because we don't have a plan, and they don't want us to go someplace else. So.
Well, that's the thing is they want you to sign on a contract so that they can get you on these new plans that are more money. Like they were trying to convince me. They phoned me, oh, yeah, okay, hey, we want you to change your plan. You're on a really old plan. Like, okay, so what's the new plan? They're like, well, we'll give you a free phone. Like, oh, okay, that's a couple $100 that you don't have to pay. So what would my plan be? They're like, well, instead of unlimited data, check this out. 2 gigs of data. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's different. How much cheaper is it? They're like, it's $5 more a month. Like, well, that's not a good deal for me, is it? And the lady's like, no, so you're not interested? I'm like, no. She's like, all right, thank you, bye.
But
I didn't even get the sales pitch after that. It was like, yeah, this is stupid.
They throw in the deal. I mean, telcos, they all do is like, well, hey, it's like nationwide minutes or unlimited, whatever. It's like, how many people spend, unlimited time talking? They don't. They want data. You want that connection.
That's the big thing.
So yeah, they throw you the free minutes and realize that you're going to use probably about 12 of them a month, but you're going to be messaging and data. So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's funny, but that's I guess we got kind of sidetracked there again.
Well, we did, but no, this was segueing into because the fact that they don't want you to. I mean, they give you.
Oh, okay, I see what you're doing. This was good.
Exactly, yeah. They're giving you all the minutes which you don't need, and charging you out, up the wazoo for your data, for messaging, and I guess that's what more people use WhatsApp than they do voice calls, really.
So does it surprise you that WhatsApp has 990 million users now?
Yeah, it actually does. About a sixth of the world, a sixth of the world's population using WhatsApp. That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, well, WhatsApp isn't the greatest application in the world. Like, I'm not going to try to tell you that this is the application that changes everyone's lives. It doesn't. It's just, it's on all the devices. It's, Apple, BlackBerry, whatever you want. It's on everything. It uses Wi-Fi. You can send messages. Everyone will tell you, oh, well, we need iMessage. Well, iMessage only works on iPhone. Guess what? If you don't have an iPhone, you can't send me an iMessage over Wi-Fi. That's a problem. Not everybody wants an iPhone. WhatsApp is kind of that replacement. It's definitely the most popular replacement, as you can tell, since there's 990 million users. It had always been they give you a year for free, and then you had to pay, I think it was only $1.
A buck a year subscription.
But they have found that $1 is enough to get people to quit using WhatsApp, which is kind of mind-boggling. But
it is.
It's not so much the amount of money; it's the fact that you got to enter in your credit card, you got to do this and this. Like, it's not going to take you days to sign up for it. It's just that hassle of putting in $1 gets people to quit. So they've finally said, okay, no, it's free. You will never have to pay for WhatsApp. I know I've never paid for WhatsApp. I did the 1 year free thing. And then every year it says like, oh, your subscription's almost up. And I go, okay, I guess maybe I should pay $1. I never get around to it. And then it finally just goes, oh, we're giving you an extra free year. So I've been on my free years since I got it. And I think I've had WhatsApp for a few years.
You've had it for a
it
couple
definitely
years.
seems, I seem to use it quite often. But yeah, so now it's free. So that's good news for everybody. But the most interesting thing, the reason I put it in here was, 990 million users.
Yeah. And this last week, they actually WhatsApp declared, first of all, and it is kind of a whole bait and switch thing, right? I mean, they say, oh, hey, yeah, it's going to cost you $1. And they're like, forget that. We'll be nice. We'll give it to you for free. And of course, Facebook bought WhatsApp a while back. But at this point, up till just recently, they have not been sharing your conversations and user data with Facebook as a company. I mean, it's all owned by the same conglomerate, but ultimately, they were running as separate businesses. Now, hey, it's free. And by the way, we're giving everything to Facebook. So,
well,
I mean,
if somebody wants to steal my conversations,
no, that's right. But I mean, it is the whole, hey, it's free. Hey, we're giving your stuff to somebody else that everybody hates.
It's Facebook.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, but anyways, you don't have to pay your 99 cents. So that's a good thing, right? Don't worry about what the other hand's doing.
Exactly. That's exactly how they pull it.
Yeah, so anyways.
It's free. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I think that's our stories. It wasn't the most exciting week.
But no, it wasn't the most exciting, but there's definitely some stuff to watch out for coming up. There's always the world of tech moves so fast sometimes. I mean, we even miss things trying to go from day to day. Somebody will send something in. It's like, hey, you guys need to address this. It's like, wow, I guess that happened.
Well,
exactly.
We try.
Exactly, we try. Other things that we're trying to do here and going to be up very, very soon. We actually have the Rocket Cairo mouse is currently being edited, so that review will be up shortly, as well as the ZTE Axon, which was aforementioned in the show. Definitely a worthy device to check out. It is free on contract, $400 off contract. It's no Galaxy S7, I'm sure, but the fact is it's a fantastic device for dirt cheap. So make sure you check that out, as well as more reviews and daily tech news over at bcchardware.com. And thanks, Jason, so much for showing up once again. We will see you next week.
See you next week.